This program is produced by the volunteers of Tellico Village Broadcasting.
Hello, I'm Betty Purvis, and welcome to this edition of the POA Board Update. We have with us today Bruce Johnson, who is our president of the POA Board, and I'd like to welcome you to this session.
Well, good afternoon, Miss Betty. How are you doing?
We're doing well.
I think fall was short-lived. Now we're into winter, it seems like, but hopefully
the curtain came down fast,
pretty
didn't
quick,
it?
didn't it?
Yeah.
It really did.
So you had your board meeting a few weeks ago.
We did.
And it sounded like it was a really busy one.
But let's talk about the board meeting for October.
In October.
That will
So
work.
you started off with the Governmental Affairs Committee talking about voting. So this is the season for voting.
We have talked about our Governmental Affairs Committee, the GAC, if you will. It's a new committee that we formed, and the reason we did that was to try to put together an organization that could help the board communicate to the people as well as to other governmental agencies, but more specifically the villagers, so we can help them keep apprised of what's going on in governmental agencies around the village, if you will. And one of the things that we have learned over the last several years, we've had some open houses in conjunction with the HOA to have an open house for political speakers to come in at both state level and the county level. And what we learned through all of that is that there's a lot of voter apathy in the village. I think last time around that we had a county-wide election, I think only like 25% of our people in the village, voted. And so the GAC, the Governmental Affairs Committee, has taken it on their shoulders to do a voter registration effort. They have started that. I think you can go online to our website and you can see information there on registering to vote either in Loudoun County or Monroe County. They will be at the HOA meetings, and they will be at our POA meetings in the back with the registration forms to help people. What we would like to see is more like an 80% turnout or more. It would be great. But you know, we've said many times before that we need support from the state and we need support from the county. And the best way to do that is to let these people know that we are cognizant of what they're doing, and our voting will show that. So we hope that this is a successful effort that they're doing, and we look forward to getting more people out to vote. I think early voting starts in January for next year. They have an election in March, I believe it is. It's a primary, so it seems like we just had one this year, but it comes back around every year, it seems like. And so here we go in January. We'll be doing early voting for a primary in March. So now's the time to register, and we hope that we can get that 25% up to, like I said, around 80 or so. So, and they're doing other things. I was in a meeting with them today for a short while, and they're meeting with like the mayor of Monroe County. They're meeting with all the government officials in the area and trying to make sure that they know, meaning the governmental officials, they know what our needs are and that we want them to help us in any way they can. When you have 8,500 people living in the village, both in Loudoun and Monroe County, that's a powerful group of people. If we were to vote, you know, for those that will support us, we could control some elections and get the kind of people in those positions that we believe would help us.
Yes.
I agree. Yeah.
We need the support from our tax dollars that we put out.
Absolutely.
That's true. Well, let's move on to Ellen Fox and the HOA. What did she have to say this time?
Well, Ellen comes in and she's always her cool, collected self, and she came in, made a presentation, and she told us all that was going on, talked about the photo contest that they have, and the photos were out there, and they do a lot to get the people in the village involved, and I think they go with involved, informed, and whatever their little, you know, mission is, but they do a great job. I've always said that. Great to have them in the village. Speaking of the HOA, it is time for them to do their annual drive, membership. What a bargain at $10.
Oh.
You know, I'm telling you, for $10 a family, not a person, but a family, you can belong to the HOA and they will represent you. And they have a great social events. And so I strongly encourage you to join, if you're not already a member of the HOA, to join that great group. Their next meeting, I believe, is November the 12th. That's their social. And then on November 21st, I believe they have a welcoming orientation. That's for new people who have moved into the village recently. If you haven't gone to one of these orientations, you want to know what HOA is all about, I encourage you to go.
Absolutely.
Now,
they give out a lot of good information.
They really do. And I will tell you that they had a candidates forum this past week or so ago, and I thought it was very successful. I was there. I went and listened to all 4 presenters, and they did a good job, and they listened to the questions that they were asked, and I thought they all had good answers. So it's going to be tough to see who you're voting for, but that
good
voting
candidates.
Started yesterday.
That's right.
It's will go on now for a while, and so I encourage you to vote. Take the little information that they sent us in the mail, get that out, and go online and vote. And if you're not one of those kind of people that feels confident in your ability to use computers, whatnot, come by the POA office, get a paper ballot, or somebody there in the POA office will more than glad to sit down with you and help you log on to the computer and let you do your voting there.
Yep.
So strongly encourage you to vote.
2 options, either on the computer, which is quick and easy, but if you can't, we have paper ballot. Okay, we'll move on to the other Fox, Andy Fox, and talk about food.
He came in as normal in his quarterly update, and he gave us an update on all 3 restaurants.
All 3 now.
3 now, because we did open. And so he gave us an update at Tanasi. They have a new manager up there. They also have, obviously, a new manager at Toqua.
Yes.
And then down at Kahiti, they still have the same manager, but they're doing a bang-up job down there. And so we think Andy has come up with a good menu. Of course, over time, that's going to change. And so he announced that. But basically, we feel like that our restaurants are operating very well now. I think they're in the process of changing menus up at Tanasi.
They changed the menu a little bit at the yacht club.
They did, and that's from feedback that people give Andy. And so, you know, if you have a problem at the restaurant, ask for the manager, talk to them, send your comments in to anybody on the board. We talk to Andy all the time. So our goal here is to make our restaurants what people want them to be.
That's right.
Of course, you know, we can't do everything for 8,500 people, but we can try our best to make it as good as we can possibly make it, and still be successful with our restaurant. So my advice to people out there would be to give Toqua a little bit of time. I know you want breakfast. I know you want to stay up until 1 and 1:30 in the morning if there's a good ball game on. Give us a little time, we'll adjust, and I'm quite sure that we will make it a success.
Well, we were at the yacht club Friday night. Food was delicious and the service was excellent. And then Saturday night we would watch the games on the TV.
There you go.
So it was fun to be there amongst
were you
other
watching,
people.
Who were you watching?
UT.
There you go.
UT. And they won.
Oh, all the better, right?
All the better.
There you go.
Okay, let's get into some serious stuff now.
Okay.
Financial report and CFO report.
Yeah, we have a great Kevin Ellsworth comes in, and so he gives us a statement as to where we are on income, where we are on expenses, where we are with our capital. We monitor these things on a monthly basis, as you well know. Certain times of the year, it's difficult for people to understand that income may be here and expenses may, and it just kind of does like this. And it has to do with timing of when you pay your bills and when you do your collections and things of that nature. But generally speaking, we want to make sure that we're trending in the right direction for the whole year. They keep us a tight look on it, and they keep us informed. I believe they're projecting by the end of the year that our cash flow is going to be great.
Oh, good.
Even though we were short coming into the year because of the monies that we're spending on the roof at Wellness Center and
yes.
work that we're doing at both Kahiti and Toka and some other things that we've been working on, our sewer system, et cetera. That we were a little concerned there, but I think that we've worked through it, and by the end of the year, we'll be in excellent position as far as net income. So
Perfect.
that they did, and then Parker Owens talks to us all the time, and he come in and basically asked for. I think we had already designed. He reported on the water tank that we're doing on the north end. You know, we basically are attempting to award that contract, but we're waiting to award the contract until we get the property in hand. We're working to get that property in hand. That should take place over the next couple of weeks. And as soon as we do that, then we'll make the award of the contract on that. So overall, I think that's some of the last things that we have outstanding as far as capital. But there's some projects that we won't do this year. We'll carry over to next year, and but we're monitoring it. And
Good fiscal decisions.
very good. And we have great staff there, and they keep us well informed.
Yes.
Doing a good job.
Great.
Yeah.
So we're solid there.
Okay.
Okay, marketing and communications. Beth gave a big report.
She and her staff are on top of things. They're in the process, if you haven't noticed it, of changing their advertising pictures and the material that they use to advertise. She goes through on a quarterly basis and tells us how they've done against a budget. That she tells us how they're doing as regards to their projections of the number of people that are coming in here, how many sales of lots that we've had, how many sales of real estate, both through our partners that we have. Talks about the houses that we're building, and she just gives us a litany of things, and it's all positive. That's the good thing.
Well, the
it's all
walk-ins
positive.
at the Welcome Center has increased significantly.
Oh, certainly. And so when she comes through and does that, everybody just goes kind of like, wow, you know. But then when you turn around and you see that our home values have increased over $50,000 over the last 2 years, that's a great thing.
That's a good thing.
Now, unfortunately, we still have some people here in the village that would have loved for us to shut the door when they moved in, but that's not the way it works when we've got an inventory of lots. You know, this village was intended to be built at 85% build out. So you drive around, you see these interior lots, and those are all up for sale, most of them, and we're doing our best to actually achieve our goal of getting to 85%. I think somewhere around 60-something% now, 66 or so. Yeah.
Okay.
And so we're doing a good job. But the biggest thing that we have to do now that they're successful in marketing is for us, the board, and the staff, to make sure that our infrastructure supports it.
Yes.
Our amenities support it, and so forth. So, you know, we've tasked them to do a good job. Now we've got to task ourselves to do a good job to keep up with them, and I think so far we've been able to do that.
The infrastructure is so important with all the building going on and
Certainly,
everything.
yes. Certainly is.
Yep. Let's talk about the fire department.
Well,
What's happening down there?
Well, we know we have a new chief, Jerry Dockery, and he is doing a bang-up job. He's on top of things. One thing that they have realized is that, you know, we do have medevac, and we need places for our helicopters to land. And so they, in conjunction with the service that provides that, they came out with their helicopters and flew around the area and tried to find places where they could land, and so that would be suitable. Everybody says, well, why don't you land up here at Clear Creek, or why don't you land over here at some other location? And unbeknownst to us, little do we know that if they land there, the dust and the papers and all that stuff is not conducive to that. So while it's just an open area that we think about would be a great area, not so. So what they did is they brought their helicopters out and they checked out and they located 5 different locations. Five in the village. And so that, if we have a medevac for whatever reason, from north end to south end, they've got various options on where to land so that they can land, and we as first responders can get those people to those helicopters as fast as we can. So those areas will be published. I'm sure that the chief will be putting out a map when he puts out his quarterly newsletter. But they are, again, they range from locations on the north end all the way to the south end, and I think they're doing a great job of keeping up with that. He did tell us that they're doing a recruitment push. Normally the fire department likes to have about 35 or so on the force. I think they're down now into the high 20s. And so if you're out there and you would like to be part of the fire department, I'm sure they would be more than glad to interview you, provide you with an application, talk to you about all the camaraderie and the benefits and the enjoyment that you get of supporting people that live in the village. So I would strongly encourage you, if you come to the village and you're looking for something to do, what better way can you do service than to serve maybe in the fire department, both either a medical and fire.
They're phenomenal.
Yes,
absolutely
they are.
phenomenal.
But anyway, they are doing a recruitment push, and again, we strongly encourage people to give them a consideration.
Yep, join the team. Well, we're coming to the end, so do you have one more thing you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, and we're constantly, we're in the middle of budget season. You really know that already.
Oh, yes.
And one of the things that came out of our budget season this year was something called a CAF fee, which is a completion assurance fee.
Okay.
And that was a process that we came up with, that instead of you having to go to a bank and get this completion certificate, that you could actually go through the POA and get it. Now that money that we've collected, what that we're supposed to use that for is we put it in escrow or in reserve account, and then if somebody's building a house and it doesn't get completed, then we have the money on hand to at least finish that or tear it down or whatever. We bring it to a completion point, then it could be turned over. So
that would be a very rare.
Yes, never has. I don't think it's ever happened.
I don't think
so.
But
so that a house wouldn't just sit there incomplete for years and years and years. So
and affect our property values.
Most definitely. So we did vote to approve creating a reserve account for that money, so that we can put that money in there, have it in case we ever need it to complete a house that somebody walked away from.
Just good planning.
Good planning.
Good planning.
Yeah.
That's about it for the October meeting, and you're already into the November meetings.
Yes, like I said, we'll be having our meeting tomorrow, and then we'll have another one on the 20th. The big thing about the meeting that we have November 20th is that's when the budget gets approved. We've been hammering this budget away for 6 weeks or more.
Yes.
Sometimes as many
Intensely.
as 3 times a week, and
Very intense work.
We've had some interesting discussions about it, but that's what compromise is all about. And we look out to each other as board members, and we look out for the people in the village, and we come to compromise, and then we present it to everyone in advance, and then on November the 20th it will be approved. But tomorrow's meeting we will be discussing the budget some more, hopefully putting some final touches on it, and then getting a report back from Parker and Kevin Ellsworth, and then hopefully we'll be in a position that on the 20th it will be approved.
And all meetings are open.
That's right.
All
meetings are open, and we encourage you to come and participate.
Well, Bruce, thank you for joining us today. We so appreciate you giving us the overview of the board meeting and everything that's going on that really affects our community.
Yeah.
And we want to support the board as much as possible. We thank you.
Well, we're honored to be in this position, and we hope that we're serving the people well, and we look forward to continue to serve them, and our new members that will be coming on in December.
So we'll be voting as we speak.
That's
We're
right.
in the voting process right now, so Get out and vote, everyone.
That's right.
It's your community. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching the POA Board Update. This is Betty Purvis for the TV Broadcasting. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next month for the POA Board Update for November.